Hey guys, welcome back to Honey Rock Acres. My name is Storm, and today I was getting ready to start cleaning out and cleaning up the greenhouse, and I thought it'd be a great opportunity to show you guys what I believe are some necessary upgrades for these aluminum framed greenhouses. So mine is the 10 by 12 Harbor Freight. This is year 2 with the greenhouse. And in just a short amount of time, I found several upgrades that I think are super critical, and maybe a couple of optional upgrades that you might like to consider. I will show you everything that I've personally built, things I've bought, and I'll share links to those if I think they're worth sharing with you guys. And I'd love to hear other suggestions from other people because there's a lot of people with these greenhouses in a lot of different climates. So just for reference, we are in northern Middle Tennessee. We're almost in Kentucky. I think that puts us in 7B, if I remember right. We get our last frost date is usually sometime in April. So we'll start seed starting real soon, actually, probably in the next couple weeks. We get, where I'm at, it's super windy. We get a lot of wind. And these greenhouses are notorious for failing in that wind. Alright, so let me tell you the absolute #1 must-do upgrade to your greenhouse is a reinforced frame. So these things are not gonna withstand wind very well. You will either lose panels or the aluminum will bend and break and collapse, and you can find images and videos all over the internet about these aluminum greenhouses just falling apart. So unless you're putting this in an area that gets virtually no wind and no snow load, the #1 upgrade is building one of these internal wooden reinforcements. So there's a lot of different ways to do this. Some people will build, all the way up into the top. Mine is just 4x4 posts. They're sunk about 2 feet down into concrete, like you would set a fence post, and there are 6 of them. So I've got one in each corner and one across on either side in the middle, and then I just ran bracing around. So I've got bracing for the front here, and then as we look around you can see I've got bracing all along the back and stuff like that. Again, some people will build their bracing up to support the roof. I don't get that heavy of a snow load, so I'm not worried about that, but it's something you might consider. And there's plenty of videos you can find of people showing you how to do that if you need kind of a snow load protection as well as wind protection. So why the reinforcement? Again, as I've already said, the wind is the #1 thing. But you can fasten your aluminum frame to this wooden structure so that it can't be picked up. You can fasten your base frame to the wooden structure to help keep everything square and tight. It also allows you to build tables into the wooden structure, so you can use like standalone tables if you want, but I'm going to show you these. There is no leg to the ground outside of these posts that are in concrete. So I save a lot of room under the table, and I can build them at whatever height, and I can build multiple levels. Alright, so for me, the #2 thing to consider is going to be securing the panels. So these panels, I'm going to walk over here in the shade, show you. So these panels, they're easy to remove with the wind, even a moderate breeze. So you don't even have to live in a super windy area, and these panels will be sent into the stratosphere and you'll never see them again. So most of these will come with a clip that looks like this, and so what I would advise and what has worked for me is if you've got extras, use them. The directions will tell you like 2 or 3 per panel. Mine came with a bunch of extras. If you don't have them, maybe buy some extras. They're really cheap. I think they're called spring clips or something like that. Use extras if you've got them. But the main thing is going to be these screws. So these are roofing screws. They've got the rubber washer on them, and I'll share a link to a set in the description. I don't have any extras to show you right now, so apologies. But every one of my panels is screwed through the panel with one of these roofing screws and into the aluminum frame. That includes the roof panels. Now, I don't know if you can tell that a couple of my roof panels have been broken already. I accidentally left the doors open one day and wind blew in from the inside, and it actually cracked two of these panels. Like I said, I don't know if you can tell from here, but I didn't lose the panels though, because even though the spring clips failed, the screws they stayed in place and they kept the panels there. So it cracked the panels, but I didn't lose them. So I was able to press them back into place, throw a little caulk on it, and they'll be good enough for now. So had I not left the doors open, none of that would have happened. And we've withstood several 70+ mile an hour windstorms here. And the only time I lost anything was when I forgot to keep the doors shut. So secure your panels. Those roofing screws are great, and they also can be used to actually fasten the aluminum to the wooden frame. So I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I'm going to try to show you. So along those lines of securing the panels, another suggestion you'll see common is caulking those panels. I have caulked in some of the panels. I've had kind of mixed feelings, mixed results, if you will. I think if done all the way around, it would work. It's going to take a lot of time to do that, and you need to make sure you really get a good quality caulk, or else it's a huge temperature swings with a greenhouse and a lot of heat beyond what maybe it would normally see just being around a window or something. So keep that in mind. You need something that's going to be really flexible and a good quality. I think that what its primary purpose for me has been is to help seal some of the draftiness. These panels aren't like airtight when you clamp them into the frame like that, so the caulk can help provide a little extra protection from losing some of that heat. Yeah, so number one upgrade, frame. Number two, secure your panels, and for me, that's using those screws. The last absolute upgrade has got to be these doors. You've got to have the frame in place to be able to do something like this, or build a frame just for your doors, but you've got to have better doors. Just be honest, I had immense trouble with the sliding doors that come on this Harbor Freight greenhouse. I couldn't get them to stay on. I tried to clamp them shut. I tried all kinds of stuff. The wind just continued to blow them off, and also they don't seal well. There's gaps everywhere, so I found them not to be useful. I tried several things, but I would say get you some doors that are gonna withstand a little bit of abuse and punishment, because you're gonna be either leaving them open or opening and closing them a lot, and you need something that can withstand a little bit of punishment and a little bit of abuse. And the doors that come with these, they're just not very good. So I'm going to show you how I built and did my doors. I've got a whole video on this if you want to go check that out. But however you do it, and like I said, there's so many different ways. After you get it built, honestly, this is the first big upgrade I did. The frame came with the greenhouse, or well, I built it with the greenhouse because I knew that it was necessary. And then securing the panels, again, absolutely necessary. And those two things were just to keep it intact. The doors was kind of the final thing to say, hey, let me help protect the investment of the building, the investment of whatever you put inside of it, and also your time. So let me show you how I built these doors and how the framing worked out. I do it a little different and I'll show you, but again, I can't stress it enough. Get a good set of doors on these. So I won't bore you with all the specifics because I made a whole video about building these, but I took the original panels, I built a wood frame, I screwed the panels to the frame, and then I caulked around them. I also built a wooden door frame based on the existing wooden structure that I had in here. I will say ideally this would be like a solid post or something, but I used what I could get my hands on at the time, and this has worked fine. But you need a door frame, build a wooden door to fit it, put some hinges on it, put a latch on it, and this has withstood everything that's been thrown at it. So it turned out better than I thought, even though it's not maybe the most elegant solution. Alright, so we've talked a little bit about absolute must-haves, and I'm going to categorize this one as a sort of must-have. If you're gonna have a greenhouse, you got to have somewhere to put your plants, and this table structure that I built, again, multiple ways to do this, but I wanted to show you what has worked really well for me and is probably material you have access to. So the frame is just 2x4s, and like I said, you can see all the trash I'm out here to clean up, but this it's just some hardware cloth, and I stapled it. So you can get like a electric stapler or just a hand stapler, or you can just drive stuff by hand, and stapled it in. And this is again just hanging straight off of the posts, and I'll eventually put another shelf about halfway up this side so that I can have 2 layers. But for now, this is absolutely perfect. Alright, so we've talked about some must-haves. Let's talk about some nice-to-haves. So some nice-to-haves, in my opinion, if you don't have a garden closet or something out near your garden, a place to keep your tools. Another thing, fans. So this particular fan has done a phenomenal job of regulating the heat so that if it gets a little too warm, this will kick in. Another, shade cloth. Of course, these shade cloths really should be on the outside of the greenhouse, but in my area and with this particular shade cloth, it just serves better as really a true shade cloth as opposed to a heat reduction. It's to help maybe filter out a little bit of that extreme sun. This fan is a fairly inexpensive addition. It's been great. I've used it for a year now. Totally recommend it. I'll leave a link to it in the description. I think that this fan or one like it is maybe not a must-have, but a really nice to have addition to your greenhouse. Another really nice to have is going to be one of these automatic vent openers. So the ones that come with the Harbor Freight greenhouse especially, they're cheap and they're flimsy and they don't like to stay shut. So these are spring loaded, so they'll close when your temperature drops too low, and they'll open when your temperature drops or gets too high. And so these pistons, which is loose right now, and that's on purpose because I don't want these opening right now because of the winter, but these will open up your doors and also keep them shut. They've been taped shut and secured for the winter, and also because we get a lot of really high storms, so I'll take extra precaution during those times to help make sure that they stay shut the way these are. Those automatic vent The windows are already there. You might as well take advantage of them. Can you get up there and open it on your own? Sure. But I'm 5'5". I can't reach those. Even with a step ladder in here, it's hard to reach those. So unless you've elevated your floor, getting up there and opening and closing them manually is really tedious. And it's honestly nice to know that you've got a little bit of a automation in case you can't get out here every day and really manage that thing, you know, closely. So I'll leave the link to those in the description. Again, I think those have been fantastic. I struggle not to categorize those and the fan that's in the back wall as a must-have, but if you're looking to upgrade your greenhouse, these are some really effective ways to do it, and they're not insanely expensive. The last one I'm going to point out is a floor. Now, I just made a video about putting this brick floor in the greenhouse. You need some kind of floor. Some people will do elevated platforms, some will do gravel, pavers, bricks. It doesn't matter, but do something. The directions call for like putting I don't know, it's like a 2 or 4 inch gravel base. I didn't want to use gravel. I had bricks available. They do a really good job of retaining heat, just like several other options do. So pick a floor, use it. If you're interested in this one, like I said, I made a video about this. You should totally check it out. I'll share some reasons, or I did share some reasons there why. And one of the biggest ones is heat retention. So regulating temperature in the greenhouse is a video that, or a topic rather, that I'm going to make a video on because I think it's important. You know, we're really early March. It's still like today's a warm day for us this time of year, and we're in like I think the almost 50 degree mark. It's well over 80 degrees in the greenhouse with the shade cloth, with the fan running, with the doors open. So I don't have the roof vents open, but we're not growing anything, so not a big deal. And another thing, get you a thermometer. I actually have a Govee thermometer that is usually in the greenhouse. I took it out to replace the battery in it, and I can't find it, so I may end up buying another one, but it's totally worth having. But I'll leave you a description. Pick that one, pick a different one, it doesn't matter. Get yourself a thermometer. If you can get one that's got some Bluetooth or wireless, it's a nice to have because you can kind of check it from, you know, remote and make sure your temps aren't getting too hot when you got delicate plants. But yeah, these are some of the upgrades that I've done to my greenhouse. I highly recommend all of them at this point. I would have done the frame maybe a little different, just lessons learned. You know, let your timber cure and dry and all that kind of stuff so that it doesn't warp on you. But overall, I've been extremely pleased with this. I've spent probably, including buying the greenhouse and all the materials that I've put into upgrades and stuff, I'm probably around $1,500, and most of that would have been buying these bags of sand, so outside of the actual greenhouse itself. So I hope this has been helpful. If you've got questions, please ask them. I'm happy to share, I'm happy to answer. If you've got other options that you think are better, or just different options for different climates, please share those so that other people can learn from them. And yeah, like I said, I hope this has been helpful, and we're going to be spending a lot of time out here in the greenhouse here shortly, so follow along, check out how our garden goes for year 3 in this plot, and year 2 in this greenhouse, and I'll see you next time. You have a blessed day, and thanks for watching.